What up, everybody? Welcome to Brooklyn Nets MyGm. Things are not going well for the Nets. We are 1-11. We are mimicking real life, despite my changes to the roster and grabbing us picks and picking up, in my opinion, better players. We're not really any better off than we were before. So we gotta do something here. We gotta make some adjustments. Hoopstar151 says it best. It looks like the Nets aren't even trying anymore. Losing streak stands at 10 games and counting. Hashtag come on, boys. So yeah. Ouch. Yo, what is up, YouTube? Just a quick note. I made a couple trades in a video before this one. But unfortunately, I messed up the audio on it, and so I'm not really able to upload that because you can't really hear anything too well. But I just wanted to let you know I made a couple trades on the roster. I traded away Taj Gibson, who I had picked up in a trade earlier. I traded him away along with a couple of filler players. I believe like somebody like Donald Sloan or something like that. I traded guys like that to pick up Jarrell Arthur and Gary Harris, who's balling right now in real life, and Randy Foye from the Nuggets. And the reason why I did this deal is because, as I've said many times already, I'm trying to keep this realistic. So I'm not trying to do trades that are going to be lopsided for my team. That are just going to make me, like so much better than the computer or the opposition. But the thing is, I don't really know anything about the Nuggets organization right now. I don't know what's a good deal for the Nuggets, what's a good trade. I don't know if they're rebuilding, if they're trying to win right now. Ever since they traded Melo, they've kind of just been in no man's land. So I don't know what they're up to. I don't know if they know what they're up to. So I thought it was a pretty fair deal. I traded away Taj Gibson. I think there was a pick involved in there too. But yeah, just him and a couple filler players for Jarrell Arthur and Gary Harris, and a couple filler players like Randy Foye and Jameer Nelson. The reason why I did this deal is because I wanted to get younger. Gary Harris is balling right now. He's on a cheap contract where we can control him for the near future. He has he's going to be a restricted free agent, and Jarrell Arthur, it can be more of a stretch four for us. Because he can shoot the three. He has, I believe, like a B- 3-point shot. So, by having both those things going for him, for those two players, I figured that would be a good deal for this team. Good pickups for this Brooklyn Nets team. So that's all that you guys need to know, and continue on with your regularly scheduled video. As I foul that man, Paul Millsap, or Al Horford. Alright, so next game is against our opponent, the Celtics, who are extraordinarily happy right now because they have our pick. Let's look and see what other adjustments we can make to this roster, because, we only have one 80 overall player, but Thaddeus Young is basically 80 overall. Joe Johnson's decent. Jarrell Arthur's decent. And then we got really nothing out there. We got two guys we want to develop, but they're young. They can't give us that much. And then we got hot garbage at the end of our bench here. We got some hot garbage at the end of our bench. So let's look into some trades that we can possibly pull off. First of all, let's look and see if we could ever possibly get our pick back from the Celtics. There was no offers found, of course. They don't want to give up their own pick. That makes perfect sense. I would feel the same way if I were them. So we're gonna go back to our own assets. And Thaddeus Young, you've been balling out for us a little bit, but it might be in our best interest to move on from you. The Cavs would not be giving up a first round pick for sure. They might decide to realize that they actually might do this deal. Thaddeus Young's been playing better than Tristan Thompson, and if the Cavs realize that they don't want to pay him all that money. I mean, look at that money. 5 years, $82 million for somebody who is young and inexperienced, and they're trying to contend right now. They could get another guy who does the same thing basically, but he's a better player and he's making $50 million less. So to give him a first round pick, they might actually do that. The Clippers, so we can get Lance Stevenson and have gotten Taj Gibson. Okay, so he's already getting curious to see what his value is worth on the open market. You know, he can score the ball for us. He can rebound. He's athletic, but you know, for the amount of money that we're paying him, I mean, he's rock solid, guys. B inside scoring, B mid range. You know, so rebounding, athleticism is a B. Perimeter defense is okay. He's really rock solid, so I can see why we're getting some pretty decent offers for the guy. But so Lance, you know, is not as solid. He's got the nice perimeter defense, which is good. He can rebound, good for a guard. And his athleticism is good. And he's younger. But yeah, man. His, you know, actually, there's nothing really bad to say. This is a pretty decent, fair deal. Rondo, Sacramento's not going to do that. Chandler Parsons, now here's an interesting one. Well, they wouldn't do this deal in particular, but they might be willing to give up Chandler Parsons. You know, he's not a spring chicken no more, and he has a player option for the next season, so that's not that great. Yeah, because he could opt in with that big salary. Wilson Chandler from the Denver Nuggets. Once again, I don't really know what the deal is with this guy or deal with the Nuggets. But let's look at what he can do with us. He can score the three, can't score inside, can't score mid-range too well. Playmaking is bad, perimeter defense is above average. So we're not this not the type of player we're looking for. We do need that first round pick though, I'll tell you that much. We need a first round pick, like who did it and why. But we don't want to give up a pick for sure. We want to stockpile picks. This is a solid deal, but the Pistons would not be doing this deal in real life. But the Pistons would not be doing this deal in real life because they don't want a power forward who can't shoot the three, and he cannot. He can play some small forward for sure, but they got Stanley Johnson. So even though this is a pretty fair deal in terms of salary and whatnot, it's not fair in real life. Ty Lawson is a much better point guard than what we have right now. Actually, he's not, because Larkin is what, a 71. So Ty Lawson, you know, in real life he can ball out. He is not a very good point guard for us to pick up in this series. Zach LaVine, the Wolves will not do this deal, unfortunately. You know, it would be very nice for us. Portland's first round pick for Thad Young. I mean, I don't know what Portland's plan is. Our first round pick is good. Why would they do this deal? They got Noah Vonleh. Maybe they feel like they have a lot of young talent already, and they're trying to make the playoffs. So I could see them potentially doing this. So your salary's too high. Lance, I kind of want to do that deal, but the pick is so far away. And I like having control over what Lance can, whether or not he can come back next year because there's a team option. Monte Ellis is giving us a pick from this year, but we have to give up a pick though. So I think I might have to look at this Portland trade and just dump him and free up more space for Joel Arthur to play and get another pick so he can help us out, because this Clippers pick is probably going to be high, and the Portland pick, there's no guarantee it's going to be low either. But if I can get a player and a pick, I got to go with the player and the pick. So I'm going to do this deal right here and try to get a second round pick. Always go for a second round pick as well. We got the 2019 second round pick, so that's good. Now we're going to go, and Thomas Robinson is not going to start, but Joel Arthur is going to start. And everybody's unhappy. Nobody likes their role. Blah, 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 blah. Randy Floyd should not be playing over him because you don't bring the team anything. I guess I'm going to cut down the roster to a 10-man. Cracked neck vertebrae. That's still just, woof, scares me. So yeah, have to see he rebuild the rotations for the 9-man roster, but you get out of here with that. And center, Lopez is going to play the bulk of the minutes, and Terrell Arthur and Thomas Robinson could have to split minutes at the center. Alright, guys, so those are some adjustments right there that we made, and a nice trade that we made. It's a pretty solid trade. Dad, once again, he's a nice, solid player for us, good soldier, but we had to get rid of him. We had to, not to get rid of him, but we had to do something to help the team out more because now we got another pick. So, we're doing all right, and we gotta flip these. You know what we need to do, because we're supposed to be picking up picks for this year. We gotta flip these picks from the future for picks now. That's what we need to really do.